Hello there, Lunar Squadron, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to our early access gameplay coverage. And guys, this is where the fun begins, because today we are rescuing Chancellor Palpatine from the invisible hand from General Grievous. But before we get into this episode 3 gameplay, I believe we have a few brief messages.
That's right, Nick, we do. First off, I want to thank our friends over at WB Games for sharing this gameplay with us so that we can then share it with you and give you all our thoughts about this segment. We did get some information from the devs that presented this segment, so we're happy to share that information throughout this video. Also, if you're new to the channel, we would absolutely love to have you. All you have to do is pretend like you are Anakin Skywalker holding 2 lightsabers and that subscribe button is Count Dooku's head, and I want you to slice that thing clean off, giving us all that satisfying noise like you just opened a fresh can of Coke. Now, you are subscribed to the Lunar Squadron. Anyways, with that, let's get into this video. Alright guys, so first things first, we're going to launch into the first mission for Revenge of the Sith. Out for the count. I think it's going to start a little bit into it, but here's a cutscene first.
Guys, you guys are the best. I never thought I'd make it to retirement, but here I am.
R2, locate the Chancellor. The Chancellor's signal is coming from the observation platform at the top of that spire.
R2, stay here and guide us.
No need for another commotion. Let's just quietly extract the Chancellor.
So first things first on this one, Nick, I want to get your thoughts on what you think the beginning of this mission is going to be like. Do you think that this game started us off at the beginning of this level, or do you think there was a bit more that they skipped over, like the flyover sequence in the Battle of Coruscant?
Oh, there's definitely more that they didn't show us. We know for a fact that flyover sequence is going to be in this game because we saw it in one of those gameplay trailers. They just decided not to start off with the beginning of Episode 3, and we already know that these episodes start with the beginning credit crawl of their episodes. We saw it with Episode 4, so I completely expect that when it comes to Episode 3. Now, I just want to say one thing in regards to that opening cutscene, that there were so many hilarious moments in that opening cutscene, like the B-1 Battle Droids retirement party. I just absolutely love the B-1 Battle Droids and their personality from the Clone Wars series. I am so happy that they brought that back.
They really did. Like, you can hear so many one-liners from these B-1 Battle Droids if you guys have listened through this. And speaking about listening and voice lines, how good does Obi-Wan and Anakin sound with James Arnold Taylor and Matt Lanter in this one?
Oh, they killed it. They absolutely nailed it. I thought the voice acting in this sequence was so good. Now, I was a little sus when it came to Grievous because it was coming over that radio transmission. It didn't quite sound like General Grievous. But when we get to actual, like, Grievous gameplay and we hear him not beyond a radio, he sounds pretty damn good. So, very, very satisfied with the voice acting in the Revenge of the Sith sequence of this game. You know, I do want to talk about one thing here since we're getting a very good look at him, Andreas. I find it a little interesting that they chose to use red lasers instead of the ray shields that we saw in Episode 3 to stop Anakin and Obi-Wan.
It leads me to believe that that might be a puzzle mechanic that they might use throughout the Invisible Hand to segment you off from certain locations. You see here there is some utility to it with this split-screen gameplay here. You see that while Anakin jumps off the side, Obi-Wan takes a different approach. Now, in general, when it comes to split screen here, Nick, what are your thoughts on the split screen in this game? And honestly, I want to turn this question to you, the viewers. Let us know in the comments down below. Do you guys want to see Nick and I play this in split screen, or do you want to see us kind of, one of us playing and then the other one reacting? Nick, what are your thoughts? Do you enjoy the split screen layout here?
Yeah, so I always have felt that split screen in games is a little jarring because obviously you're losing half the screen to another player. So you know, this is pretty standard split screen. It's not dynamic. It's right there cut down the middle. So, you know, it's pretty standard. And, you know, when it comes to the split screen and the way we play this game, I definitely would love to know what everyone thinks, because I am down to play this in split screen with you, Andreas, and I am down to watch you play this game and talk mad shit about your skills. So whatever the community wants, I am more than welcome to provide.
Yeah, go ahead, let us know in the comments down below. I'm sure Nick is going to be shit-talking me no matter what here. This is one of my favorite moments of this trailer, is the Arubesh under Count Dooku's name, huh, Nick?
Yeah, because you know what? Count Dooku never loses his head, apparently.
Yeah, I think that one's wrong. He most certainly does lose his head here. This is really the first exposure that we got to a full boss battle in this game when we were shown this, and right off the bat, I think we were all incredibly impressed by how dynamic this one was, and I think this was the first real showcase of, like, there you saw it, the blocking mechanic when we're talking about lightsaber on lightsaber. You are going to have to actually mix up your lightsaber strikes in this game and toy around with combos, because the minifigures that you're going to be fighting against, such as Count Dooku here, will react to your strikes, and they will pick up on patterns in your lightsaber strikes, and if you don't mix it up, they're going to start blocking you. And I don't know if you came up against that, Nick, but for me, when I was playing this, that was a real hurdle that I had to jump over, was mixing up those lightsaber attacks so that I actually dealt damage on certain enemies.
Yeah, you know, I did notice that a few times when it came to fighting with Obi-Wan during my free roam gameplay on Mos Eisley. So now that you mention it, I did actually notice that, and that is something that the dev team has said will be a feature of this game, is that the enemy will learn your attacks. So you gotta change it up. You gotta be creative when it comes to your attacks, and I really like that, because it really adds to how much fun the combat is going to be, because it's going to make you think a little bit. It's not going to just be mindless button mashing like it was in the complete saga and other LEGO games. So very excited for that. And another thing I'm really excited for, Andreas, because I want to mention this while we're watching this Count Dooku segment, is I love that they brought back some of the iconic movie dialogue for this segment. Earlier on, we heard Anakin say, "My powers have doubled since the last time we met, Count." And Count Dooku respond with, "Good, twice the pride, double the fall." Love that. I love that they're bringing that movie dialogue back. Really just takes this game to that next level.
And you know, one thing that I do love in addition to that, I noticed that immediately with this game, is that even in free roam in certain areas, at least in between story segments, the characters that are nearby you are going to say things that are very much in character as well. So, like, for example, here, there's a little bit of friendly shit talking between Count Dooku and Anakin. I'll let it play out here.
Skywalker, do you need me to lend you a hand?
Do you need me to lend you a hand? Like, how funny is that, Nick?
That's really messed up. Like, dude cuts his hand off and then is like, "You need a hand?" Like, come on, Dooku. You don't have to do him like that.
He's being nice.
Oh, yeah.
He's being nice. He knows Anakin needs a hand. And that was just him being considerate, okay?
He's a very considerate Sith.
Considerate Count. That's his nickname. So considerate that he is considerately gripping Anakin's neck very hard with the Force right now. Speaking of the Force, I think one thing that is extremely showcased to a high degree throughout this is the extra dimension that Force powers give you in this game. I don't think I perfectly realized how much these Force abilities could mix up the way that I traditionally thought about a LEGO game. Like you were saying, Nick, in the past it was very button mashy, very, you know, you guys know, double jump square over and over again with the stray force push here and there, but it was kind of wonky. This time around, so much more freedom, right?
Yeah, it really is. You really notice it in this boss battle. But we have a cutscene to get through first.
Do it.
Jedi scum!
General Grievous. Not this time.
General Kenobi! Strap yourselves in.
I'm appointing you to be my personal representative on the Jedi Council.
The Council elects its own members. They'll never accept this.
I think they will. They need you.
Another happy landing.
More than you know.
Alright, so Andreas, obviously that cutscene we just saw that finishes the first main level of Episode 3 just threw a ton of information at us. We just got a whole bunch of story for that sequence of Episode 3 in that cutscene. It was a little different than how it goes down in the film, where you're chasing Grievous instead of being captured by Grievous, and just, you know, you don't play through the whole deck sequence or any of that. And I do know, Andreas, that we had kind of speculated when we did our Revenge of the Sith gameplay breakdown that we were kind of hoping that that bridge sequence would be playable and that even perhaps flying half a ship would be playable. So how do we feel about how that final cutscene went down, how it changed the sequences of Episode 3, and how it wasn't exactly playable, that whole finishing part of that first level?
You know, I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit disappointed by that. I think I was really looking forward to this game allowing us access to that bridge sequence, to the fight against those Magna Guards. This is something that we haven't really done since, I think, Episode 3, the game, way back when. I don't think we've had access to a sequence like that, to that depth in Episode 3. So I was really looking forward to that level of depth, and it doesn't look like it's going to go that far. However, I also have reason to believe that this wasn't it for that particular level. Now, I do think that was it for the end of the level, but I think there were some clear points in this one where it had jumped sequences ahead or started in the middle of the level. So I do think that we can kind of hope for a bit more in terms of what we can come to expect from exploration throughout the Invisible Hand. I do think that TT did not show their entire hand with this level, and I think there's a lot more than meets the eye here. And I would love to hear your thoughts on that as well, Nick. Do you think, like, how much of the, like, if you had to put a percentage on this, how much do you think they actually showed us here?
You know, that's a very good question. I honestly don't know if I could come up with a percentage, but I definitely agree that I think they kind of cut some of the gameplay through the Invisible Hand out. That did feel a little short. Now, I want to kind of counter you with a question of my own. So obviously we picked up within the hangar of the Invisible Hand with the first level being out for the count. So, Andreas, do you think that that opening sequence through space, through the Battle of Coruscant, do you think that is going to all be handled by that opening cutscene like it is in the film? Or do you think that's going to be a pre-level? Are we going to actually be able to fly the Jedi Interceptors up to the Invisible Hand just like we did in the complete saga?
You know, I don't want to just answer wishfully and hopefully here because, like I said in the past, I was expecting the most out of this one. I was expecting us to fly half a ship, and I was expecting us to... Maybe not expecting that. I was just really hoping for it. But I think, of course, we won't know until we officially get our hands on this one, but I think it might be a safer expectation that you would have that lead-up sequence than you would that tail-end sequence. I think that's a pretty fair statement to make, and I wouldn't be surprised if they went ahead and had that initial sequence here. I also am downright convinced that there was at least one middle portion throughout that I did notice a hard cut or a skip ahead. So I definitely think that there is more from this level. I mean, I think it's pretty clear as much, and I would expect more out of it. Now, just in terms of general impressions here, what are your thoughts, feelings, vibes surrounding Episode 3, Nick? Like, do you feel like this is a good start? Is this getting you in the mood? Are you, now that we're standing here on Coruscant at the end, which is where this demo at least leaves us off, how do you feel? Like, are you really pumped just to get through this thing?
Honestly, I am. Like, we just rescued the Chancellor in Episode 3, and we're standing here on Coruscant. Yes, I am hyped to play through Episode 3. I'm very excited for this. Nothing we saw here disappointed me or has me down. Like, if anything, it just got me more excited because we finally saw actual episode 3 gameplay. So yes, I'm very excited for it. And, you know, I'm surprised at your take when it comes to the Battle of Coruscant, because honestly, I'm expecting that to be some sort of pre-level. I think we're going to get to fly through with the Jedi Interceptors. I don't think that will be handled all via cutscene. I think only that opening sequence after the credit crawl will. So definitely going to be very interesting to see next week what it turns out to be. Very excited for episode 3 and just how the whole episode plays out. I'm really excited for this one.
I mean, I would definitely hope that TT would continue to take advantage of the capital ship mechanics which they have developed for this game. That is a beautiful opportunity for them to do that because, as you guys know, there's so many capital ships flying around the battle over Coruscant at that point in time. And so I would love to see, you know, a level where you would have to maybe, you know, take down the shields, which are still up, and make your way into the hangar to ultimately begin the level. I think that would be a great sequence that would add a lot of variety and depth into the level. And I'm really hoping for more opportunities like that for TT Games to explore the capital ship and the scale and the size of these space encounters that we're all hoping for and frothing at the mouth for this game. That's what we're all looking forward to here. So I'm really excited to see what they actually do put together here, and I can't wait to get my hands on this one. Also, we would love to hear your thoughts on this level, guys. Let us know in the comments down below what you made of all the things that we touched on, our thoughts about the lightsaber mechanics, the Force use in this game, the dialogue, which adds such a depth to the game, the audio, which is just an experience in and of itself. I'd love to hear all of your thoughts. What is getting you all hyped about this game? What are your impressions on episode 3, and how excited are you to finally get to play episode 3 and be in a place like Coruscant like we are now? Let us know in the comments down below because we'd love to hear your thoughts on that. However, that's going to do it for this one. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, we will see you all next time.